Video, and in today's video we're actually going to be talking about a optimization download app, whatever you want to call it, that actually boosts your FPS really good. This is by far my favorite. Now I do mention it's my favorite later on in the video, but this is my favorite app that I have used yet to boost your FPS and input delay, and I've used quite a few. I've talked about a lot of things as well, and this one app pretty much covers everything, and it's really good. So that's pretty much what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. Before we start this video, I actually want to quickly talk about what actually makes input delay. Now, what input delay is basically like while you're building, editing, or whatever it is you're doing, how fast something happens. So let's say I'm building like this, basically how fast everything confirms, and edits is how fast your delay is. So if I click E to edit, how fast all this actually happens. Now that we know what input delay is, let's actually talk about what causes input delay. Now, input delay is caused by something called a process. Now, what a process is basically everything you have open in the background, and you can see that by going to your task manager, CPU, and right here it says processes. 165 is what I have, which really isn't that bad while streaming. Now, everything you close will lower the processes, as it went down to 162. If I were to close something like Discord, it would obviously drop down even more to 156. Now, the more things close, the better, but you don't want to close out too much important stuff, because that can actually cause your PC to blue screen and crash and all kinds of stuff. So I recommend only closing out like games and everything like that, you're not using, like Epic Games Launcher. When you launch Fortnite, you actually don't need open while playing if you have like Steam open in the background. And one of the best ways to actually help this is going in here and going to startup apps and turning off everything that you don't need on. As you can see, I have 3 things on. My Razer Synapse for my mouse to see the percent of it. This for lower mouse input delay, which I've covered in a different video, which if you would like to check that video out, at the top right of the screen, there's actually a tab. You can click on that. And then steelseries.gg, or steelseries.gg is my keyboard, right? So I have these 3 things open. That's all that opens when I launch my PC. That is it. So having startup apps set up right is good, but we're going to talk about something else to actually help you with your delay. Okay, now that we have closed Fortnite, we're now going to open up Elite PC Optimizer. Now, if you'd like to download this, the download is in the description. It is free to download, and there is a free version of this. Right now, once you open it, you sign in with whatever, and then you go to tweaks, right? And this is where you'll see all the optimizations. Before we look at the optimizations, let's actually talk about the price of this. Now, here we are. There's a free version here, which is 40 optimizations is what you get. Estimated 20% FPS increase. So let's put it this way. If you can only run 200 FPS, you'll now be running a 240 FPS stable, right? PC cleaner and game booster. Now, with premium, you get game booster, pro, right? You get PC cleaner, low latency and delay, estimated 40 through 50% FPS boost, 200 optimizations, priority support, and all kinds of other stuff. And it's a one-time payment of $20. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. I get no revenue of this, so everything I'm about to say is coming strictly from me. So the reason I'm talking about this app is because this is by far my favorite app to use for optimizing PCs. It has a bunch of different stuff, and the person that made this obviously knows what they're talking about, because a lot of the settings in here are really useful that a lot of people don't even talk about. So let's get into it now, right? So for the best FPS settings, once you open it, it says FPS right here. There's 48. Now, the ones that say Pro, unfortunately, you can't use unless you pay that $20 one-time payment, not subscription, by the way. So once it's paid, you don't need to pay it again, right? And just basically, you turn on everything that is here. Now, I do have the priority, so I'm gonna turn, or what's called Pro. So I am gonna turn this on. But if it says it's like broken at the moment or something like that, obviously don't turn it on. If you're not okay with higher power consumption, obviously don't turn it on. It's really up to you. Now, all these settings get applied as soon as this bar is done. That's what the flicking is. That's pretty much the setting getting applied. But yeah, let's go ahead and apply all these settings here, just like this. And of course, I did forget to mention this before I applied this, but I already have it done. Make sure you make a restore point. You can actually do that in this app here. You can make a restore point here, but if you don't know how to make a restore point, just go ahead and type this and pretty much type restore point just like that. And then you hit create. Go ahead and name it whatever you want. You can do before tweaks, whatever. I already have one made, so no need to make one. But just in case you mess something up and you want to go back, a restore point is the way. But let's get back to turning these settings on. Just like this, basically, and it's really easy to do. Glass theme, I usually click no for this because glass theme is not needed. Feature breaking, so I'm not going to turn it on. And then go ahead and turn all these on. And I already have premium, so this is basically for the people that don't have it. They're saying if you want pro, upgrade to premium, just like that. Now let's go to processor. The flashing is everything being turned on. Now keep in mind, if you do leave this before the bar finishes, like I just showed, the setting will not apply. So make sure this little purple bar down here finishes before you move on, right? So you want all this to finish, right? And then you are good. Finished. And then wait for these two. Hello. Finished and finished. Now I can go on to processor, right? Now here we are in processor. You obviously want to do all of these as well. Now you can read, every single thing has a description of what it does, and if you don't want to apply it, that is okay, but we're going to go ahead and apply everything. Now for the people that don't have $20 and they're like, yeah, no, I definitely am not paying $20, I'll just use all the free ones, you can actually unlock some of these pro ones by boosting their Discord. It keeps running. Okay, yes. You want to basically go to their Discord, which is linked in the description, boost the server, and you get some of these pro ones for free. So that's obviously a plus if you would like to do that. Now that all these are done, we're going to move on to latency. Right now in latency, we're also going to apply all of these as well. Now, there is some settings in here that you will not need to apply. This says Intel CPUs only. So if you have like an i9, i5, i7, this applies to you, so you turn that on. But if you're like a Ryzen 5, whatever, that's not Intel, right? So make sure you pay attention to that. Moving on, we got GPU. Now in GPU, now I have, sorry, it's flashing from all the things being applied. Now we're in GPU. It still says latency. I guess it's a little bugged. I mean, they just updated this, so the bugs will be fixed. Just give it time. Now my GPU is NVIDIA. I'm not using Intel graphics. Now this is a bug. The one with the bell is the one that you should be using. So having the bell on Intel actually is not correct. I spoke to the person that made this, and they said, yeah, it's just bugged out. NVIDIA is what I have. So I'm going to apply all the NVIDIA ones, not Intel, because I'm actually not on, the Intel graphics. I have a GPU. So we're going to go NVIDIA GPU and apply all these settings and wait for the bar to finish. AMD we don't do, Intel we don't do, right? Once those are done, there is even network settings in here that you can turn on as well. But speaking of network settings, I actually do not use these settings. So what I use is actually something called Gear Up Booster. Now, if you'd like to try out Gear Up Booster absolutely for free, you can install it with the link in the description and you get a free trial on this. Now, the reason for a free trial is for every optimizer that does ping has a free trial, and there's a huge reason for it. So let me explain something. When you install this, you can boost absolutely any game of your choice all the way up to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch games. Now, keep in mind, this is something a lot of people get confused. Apps like this, whether it's Gear Up Booster, Exit Lag, No Ping, no matter what the app is, it is 100% location based. So let's put it this way. I live in Florida, okay? And this works perfectly for me. I also lived in PA while using this, which is Pennsylvania, and this still worked perfectly for me. Now, I know people that live in, let's say, California, and it might not work as well as it will for somebody living where I live, right? So that's why there's something called a free trial. So if you download the link in the description, you could try it out before buying a membership, and you can actually see if this works for you. Now, if this doesn't work, there's other options for you out there. I'm not saying don't try those, but I do think that this will be the best option for you is Gear Up Booster. Now, this is the one that I use. So like I said, if you'd like to try it out, link in the description. It'll be right underneath or right above the performance app that we've been talking about if you'd like to install this and try it out completely for free. Now, let me know what you think of Gear Up Booster in the comments, and let's continue with this video. Now, there is network settings. I just talked about Gear Up Booster. If you would like to apply network settings, you can. I actually don't need to because, like I said, I use Gear Up Booster, but that's just what it is. Move on to the system cleaner, because that is pretty much it for the optimizations, and you can go ahead and scan. It'll scan your entire PC for any trash, anything that needs to be cleaned out, just like Razer Cortex does. If you've ever tried that, it does pretty much the same thing. It'll scan everything. It'll even do a virus scan for you, and it might take a little bit of time because it's scanning your entire PC. Just give it some time, and when it's done, you'll know. If you have Discord open, it will ask to close it. That's gonna go with pretty much anything it needs to clean. It's gonna ask you to close it. So if you do have something open, it just takes a few seconds. It'll close it, and then as you can see, as you go through, check marks pop up of what's got to be cleaned. Now we close Spotify. Check mark pops up. Spotify's been cleaned, and then it continues to go on. Now, cleanup is done. Now, the thing about a cleanup is I recommend doing this like at least once a week. You don't have to do it every day. Cleaning up your PC every day really doesn't help out that much. I mean, because what can you really add to your computer in a day? Unless you're doing a bunch of different stuff. I mean, I guess, but you know, there you go. So doing that is good. Now let's talk about Game Booster. Now it's going to detect the few games that you play, and this is where you can boost games. Now, if you already applied all your own settings, you don't really need the Game Booster. You can actually just, you know, use your applied settings, but if you do boost the game, it will give you recommended settings for that game. So that's pretty much what Game Booster does. So definitely a useful thing if you don't know what settings to apply, if you don't know what the other settings are, and then you can click boost. But that is it. Once you are done, you can close this. No need to open it again. And like I said, if you paid for it, it's only a one-time payment, no subscription, and you know, it's really easy. Now the payment options are Cash App, stuff like that, and you know, things of that nature. You'll see if you go to pay for it. Now let's close it and reopen it, because for some reason there's no going back option. Once you like go into the tweaks, you can't go back. So we have to reopen this. I'm gonna quickly show you something that I forgot to show in the beginning. I showed how to make a restore point, but there's actually a way in this to make a restore point, and it's just called a system backup, which I have one named main. Now I made this today, so this is for, let's say I apply this setting, right, and I don't like it. I can click this and it backs up everything. So hitting create a backup and then naming it whatever you would like, and then hit create is the same thing as making a restore point, and you can restore everything from inside the app as well. Now this is a free option for you, and you know, you don't need pro to do that. So definitely something you should do. Matter of fact, you need to do that before you apply the tweaks. So, you know, there's no problems. But let's just say you do come across some problems. We're going to go ahead and open up Discord, and right down in here is where you can talk about all your problems. Now they have something called ticket. So please don't come in here yapping about problems. No offense, but I know some people do yap kind of crazy. So don't come in here just yapping away about problems. Go ahead and make a ticket. And then they will respond to you as soon as they can. So you create a ticket, and then basically you do whatever it needs you to do. Right now, not only that, they also have a issues and bugs thing that you can go to. You can make a new post, and just like people here, you could talk about bugs. And this is the owner himself. Actually, he responds to the people, and he'll walk you through absolutely everything you need if you have problems. Now, the link to this Discord will be in the description as well. And you know, there's obviously people in here you could talk to that vouch, everything like that, and all kinds of stuff. Now, we're going to go ahead and close this and launch Fortnite. We have launched Fortnite. We're going to reload in my map. We're going to take a look at what my FPS looked like on caps. Now, for those of y'all, sorry, that watch my video, you know that I run about 400 to 500 FPS while recording. Now, I am recording, obviously, or I wouldn't be able to make this video. So 400 to 500 is my normal FPS. Let's go ahead after applying all those optimizations, and let's go ahead and see what my game looks like now. And we're also going to close the few things we have open over here that, like I said, you don't need opened. And we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what it's looking like. Now, off rip, I can say input delay feels nice, right? Input delay isn't something I can really show you. That's something you're going to have to test yourself. But let's go ahead and uncap this, not 30, uncap this FPS and take a look. We're running at almost, let's go ahead and look up, why not? That's saying 700. I see about 700. I don't really see it hitting 800. I know it's saying its peak is 800, but yeah, about 800. While looking just around, we're about 700 FPS. So it gave me about a 200%, or not 200%, 200 FPS boost, which is great, especially for the people that need the boost. Me personally, I don't need 8,000 gajillion FPS because I'm fine with my 360 FPS that I run stable, thanks to this app. So if you like this app, make sure you let them know, and also let me know in the comments if this helped you out at all. And if you'd like to check out my Fortnite map, 0 input delay, the code will be in the description as well. Highly recommend trying the map out, and it would mean a lot to me. Anyways, if you guys did like the video, make sure you like, subscribe. If you'd like to check out more videos like how to get cheap FPS or V-Bucks, or even how to boost your PC even further than this video, then click on the 2 videos on screen, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.